Hello and welcome to my first video back after my hiatus. It's exciting to be able to start doing, videos, reviews again. It's quite an enjoyable experience to be able to have a camera set up and to be able to talk about all various things, film and stuff. So, as my first video back, I figured that I would do a top 5 best films of 2013 video. I've been meaning to do this for a while. I've tried using my camera, tried using different settings. I finally found a setup that I like, and so now I'm going to be able to make this video and give my take on what I think the 5 best films of 2013 were. Now, two things right now I feel I should mention. Thing number one, I haven't seen every film that came out in 2013. I haven't seen American Hustle, I haven't seen The Wolf of Wall Street, Blue's Warmest Colour, Dallas Buyers Club, Blue Jasmine, 12 Years a Slave. I haven't seen them, so I feel I should mention that now, which is why there are some picks for my top 5 that you may think are a little bit strange. Second thing, this out of the films I have seen this year, this is mine and my opinion alone. So this is what I thought were the best films. I haven't reviewed all of the films. In fact, I've only reviewed one of the films that I've seen in this top list. I won't give away which one, but you might be able to figure it out. But before we get into the list, I feel that there are some honourable mentions I should give. Films this year that I did enjoy and I did think were good, but I don't think they sort of deserved a place in a top 5. Like, I felt as though if I made like a top 8 list, I'd just be putting them on there just as filler, just to make this video a bit longer. So, my honourable mentions this year go to Elysium, The Wolverine, and Monsters University. Enjoyed all of them. Elysium was a decent sci-fi action film, didn't quite scale the heights of District 9, which was directed by the same person. The Wolverine was also another solid superhero action adventure film, which I too enjoyed, but Wolverine is a bit of an iffy character. We've seen him enough times on the screen by now, and there's not really that much you can actually bring to the character anymore within the universe that they've built for him. And Monsters University was a very enjoyable animated film as a sequel to Monsters Inc. by Pixar. I thought it was okay. It doesn't quite scale the heights of other Pixar films, and I kind of hate saying that because it is a good, enjoyable, animated film. It's still an enjoyable one. I just don't think it deserved a place on a list like this. So, now that that is done and out of the way, let's actually get on with my top 5. In number 5, I have picked The World's End, the sci-fi comedy from Edgar Wright, written by Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Martin Freeman, Paddy Considine, Eddie Marsan, I think that's his last name, Rosamund Pike, Pierce Brosnan's in it. It's got a very good cast, very talented cast. And altogether, it was a very funny, enjoyable film. Lots of hints and references, a whole lot of foreshadowing, which I didn't quite notice my first time. But if you watch the film with like Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg's commentary over it, it all becomes really clear, and you're like, wow, that's a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of detail gone into the film, and altogether a very enjoyable comedy. But there are indeed 4 films that came out this year, or last year by now, that I thought were better. In number 4, we have a drama film, which I was actually surprised I enjoyed as much as I did. Number 4 goes to Philomena. Philomena's got 2 excellent performances from its lead stars of Dame Judi Dench and Steve Coogan. It has an interesting story behind it, made all the more interesting and kind of depressing in the knowledge that this stuff actually happened. I won't go into too much detail about the plot, but it essentially follows Steve Coogan, who's a journalist, helping Dame Judi Dench find her son, who was given up for adoption when she was a teenager. Some see it as like all this anti-Catholic stuff. I don't. I didn't perceive it as being completely anti-Catholic, and I wasn't worried about that whole element to it. I just enjoyed the film for its story, its characters. The acting was very good, and ultimately it is an enjoyable, sometimes a bit depressing, but ultimately a feel-good drama. And I very much recommend it. But as I said for The World's End, and now this one, there are three films that came out this year that I thought were better. The first of those films, coming in at number 3, is Mud, another drama which I was not as much surprised to enjoy because it's got a lot of good reviews. It's got like a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very good, and it's completely deserves that rating. Mud was one of those films where I was skeptical as to whether I was going to enjoy it because I like films of all styles, but things like drama, I've never really had a great interest for. But this was one of those films that sort of made me more aware that some drama films are actually really good. Mud has got an excellent lead performance from Martin uh, Martin McConaughey. I don't know, Matthew McConaughey. A lot of very good performances from all the other cast members. Ty Sheridan, um, Michael Shannon's in it. General Zod is in it. That's cool. And it's one of those films that it's quite enthralling. It's very much gets you into this world of it, following the story of two boys who makes friends with a convict on the run, and it's almost a glimpse into a much more than just characters, but into a community, into the lives of various people and how they all intertwine with each other, following a very well executed story. So, it's a very good film. I do recommend it. I recommend all the films on this list, by the way. And I think it was just ultimately a very enjoyable film. Now, number 2, my second favourite film of 2013. It goes to a comedy. Yeah, surprising, I know. I don't suppose you'll see this film on many top 5, top 10 lists, maybe a top 20, but to me, this is one of the funniest films I've seen in a while. And that award goes to, not really an award, but you know what I mean. The film is This Is the End. This was a very funny film. All the performances were great. It could be down to the fact that a lot of the comedy on it was improvised, but even if it's improvised, even if they followed the script, it was still very, very funny. A lot of good, interesting things they put into the story of the film. I like the fact that all the actors are playing jumped up versions of themselves. So, Seth Rogen's a bit of an arrogant douchebag. Jay Baruchel's this really skinny, weedy guy who can't really do anything. All those different sort of exaggerated versions of the actors in the film. That was all really funny to watch. And even though I've had a bit to say about all the other films that come up so far on this list, it gets the number 2 spot for just doing what a comedy should do with such flair and sort of such a complete identity of what it's trying to be. And ultimately it's here because I enjoyed it, the most. There's only one other film I saw this year that I enjoyed more. So This Is the End. It's a very good comedy. Like I said, I do recommend it, and I recommend all the films that I've seen this year. But if there's one film this year that you haven't seen, well, I feel sad for you. My number 1 film of this year goes to Gravity. What can I say? If you haven't heard about Gravity, why not? If you haven't heard anything about the hype and all the good stuff and reviews it's getting, I don't know how that's possible. So allow me to take this opportunity to briefly tell you about why Gravity is the best film of the year. It is intense. It is at times terrifying. The CGI is excellent. It's probably the best I've ever seen, bar maybe like District 9, like Inception. Even though Inception didn't use a lot of CGI, what it does, but all the bit that you think are CGI are actually sets. If I ever review Inception, I'll talk about it then. Um, but yeah, there's such a, an intense atmosphere to this film. You see it on like a big screen. I saw it in 3D and in 2D. In 3D, it was an immensely enthralling, engrossing film. The performances were fine. Some people complain that the script and the story are a bit weak. I didn't think that at all. I thought there was a perfectly, um, it was a decent script, but it's largely more about the experience of watching it than sort of getting you involved with the character and all that stuff. And besides, I thought the characters were interesting anyway. Sandra Bullock gives a good performance as this astronaut. Like I said, I don't want to go into the plots of these stories too much. I don't want this to be a very long video. We're already at like 11 minutes by now. But, you know, it's one of those things where the experience is stuck with me. Like thinking about it now, I can see all the action taking place on the screen. I can just remember just getting really excited for it, and all it was just amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. It is my favourite film of the year, and what can be said? So, thank you for watching this video. Uh, I know it's taken some time to start getting videos made and getting them out. There are other videos on the way, reviews. I'm going to try and start reviewing maybe not as much current TV shows or animated stuff, but I'm going to start reviewing them as well. Things like the Last Airbender series, I've started watching that. Adventure Time, I've got the first season on DVD, I might go around to reviewing that. Sherlock's, maybe. Going to try and start watching Game of Thrones. I know I'm a bit behind on that, but never mind. Breaking Bad, and that's another thing I'm going to try and start watching. So yeah, expect, so long as the camera doesn't break anytime soon, expect more stuff to be coming out, and I'm going to try and get it out on a weekly basis. So anyway, thank you for watching this video, hope you enjoyed it. You're welcome to disagree, like I said, this is my list and my list alone, so, you know, my opinions and whatnot. And like I said, hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.